everyone, welcome to your mat. Let's go ahead and jump right into practice today, child's pose. Take your knees wide, bring your big toes to touch. Take them wider than you typically do. Sink your hips back, relax here. Take a big inhale through your nose and exhale out your mouth. And then bring your lips to seal. Stay focused on your inhales and exhales throughout this moment, well, throughout the whole practice, but specifically right now. Really tune in, pay attention to the large inhales. You're going to find a pause at the top and your exhales out of your nose. And there's a pause at the bottom. I'm going to stay here for a couple of breaths to take a moment to get integrated into your mind and body. Feel the floor beneath you. Spread your fingers wide. Press your palms into your mat. Draw the pit of your belly in and up. With integration comes intention. You can set this time to create an intention for your practice or for your day. Or even get intention about your movements. Intentionally spread your hands wide, press them down. Intentionally feel the earth beneath you. Downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, take your hips to the ceiling. Take a few moments, bend one knee at a time. Take a few movements that just feel good. And then come to stillness. In downward facing dog, your feet are hip distance apart, both at 12 o'clock. Point your hip bones up towards the ceiling. Press your mat away. Lengthen through your back body. You can bring air to your joints. Soften through your knees. Ragdoll. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Grab opposite elbows with opposite hands. Let your upper body hang loose. You can nod your head yes. Shake it no. Sway side to side. Once again, do what feels good. Move with intention, and give up what you must to be present on your mat. Walk out high plank. Pause here. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Ignite your practice from here. Start creating fire by hugging your muscles into your bones. Draw the pit of your belly in and up. Downward facing dog. Take your right heel to the ceiling, three-legged dog. Flex out through your lifted foot. Rotate your 5 toes down towards the mat. See if you can lift your heel any bit higher. Downward facing dog. Left side, inhale your left heel up. From your skin to your muscle to your bones, hug in. Activate your quad. Press out through your lifted foot. See if you can take it any bit higher. Downward facing dog. Take your drishti, your gaze to your hands. Tiptoe your toes up to your wrists. Take another ragdoll. You can either grab opposite elbows like we did last time, or you can clasp your hands behind your back. Seek the truth here. Do whatever feels good for you in this moment. Release your bind. Bring your big toes to touch at the center of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Press your shoulder blades into your mid-back. Create a nice flat spine. On an exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Forward fold. Tadasana, extended mountain. Press down through your feet, spark out through your fingers. open through your side body. On an exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Tadasana. Hug your outer shin bones in. Keep your pelvis neutral. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, high plank. Big inhale, shift onto your tiptoes. Exhale, low plank. Hug your elbows in. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We're going to take another chaturanga. This time I'm going to show you a modification option. Shift forward, high plank. Inhale, rock onto your toes. Exhale, drop your knees. Take the low push-up from your knees. From here, big inhale, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Good. Reconnect with your breath. Long inhales and exhales in and out of your nose. And don't feel rushed by my words. The intention behind vinyasa style practices is to connect your movement with your breath. So I'm likely going to be just a beat ahead of you, and that's fine because I'm here to show you where to go. Big inhale, exhale, get empty, step your feet to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold, Tadasana, reach up, high mountain, forward fold. Halfway lift, high to low plank or chaturanga dandasana, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Come back to downward facing dog. This is like your home base. Bring your feet back to 12 o'clock. Ground down through your hands, your feet, and your core. Stabilize your foundation. Sometimes words just don't like to come out. One more round of breath. Once you're empty, bring your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Tadasana. Draw into center, lift up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, high to low plank. Up dog, press your upper arm bones behind you. Downward facing dog. One more round of breath. Last Sane, take your gaze to your hands, bring your feet to your hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take your right heel to the ceiling, three-legged dog. So just like before, press out through your lifted foot. This time, open your hips, draw your heel to your seat. So your kneecap is shining up towards the ceiling. Square your shoulders back to the front of your mat, and then press your lifted foot farther behind you. Downward facing dog, switch sides. Start with a straight leg, and then open your hips, draw your heel to your seat. Move with intention, square your shoulders back, shine your kneecap up, find where you can create more space. Downward facing dog. On empty, bring your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold, thunderbolt, chair pose. Lift the front of your pelvis as your tailbone descends. Draw the pit of your belly in and up. Acknowledge if you're death gripping the mat with your toes. Lift and spread all 10 of your toes and then place them back on your mat. On an exhale, forward fold. Separate your feet hip distance. Bring a deep bend into your right knee. Keep your right hand down on the floor, or you can use a block here. On an inhale, take your left fingers to the sky. Your left leg's nice and straight. This is a great IT band stretch. On your next exhale, switch sides. Straighten your right leg, bend your left. Reach your right fingers to the sky. On your next exhale, forward fold. Bring your big toes back to touch. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Thunderbolt. Hug your outer shin bones in. On an exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior one on your right side. Step your right foot in between your right hands, or both your hands rather. Your left foot's flat on your mat. Front foot's at 12. Sink your hips closer to your mat. Spark out through your fingers. On your exhale, plant your hands. High to low plank. Up dog. Down dog. Left side, warrior one. Step your left foot forward, right foot flat. Reach your hands to the sky. You want to work for a parallel front thigh. So stack your front knee over your ankle. Press down through both your feet. On your next exhale, plant your hands, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Pause, take 3 rounds of breath. Last round of breath. Get empty. Begin again. Hop your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Thunderbolt. 1 breath. Sink low. Big inhale. On an exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Come right in, warrior one. Take a nice long inhale. Ground down through your feet. Exhale, high to low plank. Up dog. Down dog. Left side, warrior one. Big inhale, look up. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Come back to home base. Reconnect with your foundation, your hands, your feet, your core. One more round of breath. Big inhale. Empty out. Get your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Thunderbolt. Hug in. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior one, right side. High to low plank. Up dog. Down dog. Left side, warrior one. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior one on your right side. Pause here for a moment. Ground down like earth through your feet. Spark out through your fingers. So with this practice, the intention is to press down, lift up, express out. Open up, warrior two. Your back foot's now parallel with the back edge of your mat.
You still have a nice 90-degree angle in your front knee. Take a look back at your back arm. Acknowledge if you're hanging out too low or maybe too high. You want it nice in line with your shoulders from fingertip to fingertip. Peaceful warrior, flip your front palm, reach behind you with your right hand. Keep the bend in your front knee. Create space through your side body. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat, high to low plank, add a little flare. Keep your right toes lifted as you lower. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, warrior one, right side. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Lift and spread all 10 of your toes. Open up, warrior two. Sink deeper. Press down through your feet. Peaceful warrior, reach behind you with your left hand. Cartwheel your hands down, high to low plank. Option to keep your left toes lifted. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Everyone take a big, big inhale, fill up. Exhale out your mouth. Give it up, let it go. Bring your lips back to seal and reignite your Ujjayi breath. Strong inhales and exhales in and out of your nose. Inhale, take your right toes to the ceiling. Open your hips, draw your heel to your seat. Stay here or flip your dog. For a flip dog, you just let your lifted foot carry you over. Bring both your feet back to 12 o'clock. Press your hip points to the ceiling. Reach to the wall in front of you and let your gaze follow. Where your drishti goes, the energy flows. Come back, three-legged dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, start with a straight leg. Move intentionally. Open your hips, draw your heel to your seat. Stay or flip. Press your shoulder blades in. Hug into your center line. Look where you want to go. Just like we make plans and to-do lists for what we want to do, we gotta plan ahead. Look ahead for what you want to reach. What's possible if you're willing to come apart? Come back to downward facing dog. Big inhale. And exhale. Shift forward, high plank. Side plank towards the left. Ground down through your right hand. Take your left hand to the ceiling. You have options here to keep your feet stacked. Flex them as if you're standing on them. You have the option to drop your bottom knee underneath your hip. Either way, lift your hips away from your mat. Draw in to create your fullest expression out. High plank, low plank, up dog, downward facing dog. Other side, come forward, high plank, draw your belly in. Left hand down on the mat, right hand to the sky. Come right into your fullest expression, whatever that looks like for you today. Whew. See, wobbles mean progress. We're looking for progress over perfection. High plank, low plank, up dog. Downward facing dog, child's pose. We just made it through integration and awakening of the Journey into Power sequence. So let's keep this train rolling and jump into vitality. Take your hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Inhale your right toes up, three-legged dog. On an exhale, draw your knee to your nose, cheetah. Inhale, extend your leg behind you. Exhale, cheetah, hug in through your core. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cheetah. Crescent lunge. Crescent lunge is available for you here. Hug into your center line. Once again, we have knees stacked over your front ankle. On your back foot, your back heel is stacked over the ball of your back foot. Lift the front of your pelvis. Bring your hands to heart center. Twist to the right. Hook your left elbow on your right knee. Press your hands into each other. Add rotation here. Take your gaze over your top shoulder. And then open your arms. Take your gaze up to your top hand. Come back to center, warrior two. Peaceful warrior. Extended side angle. You have the option to bring your elbow to your knee or your hand to the inside of your foot. A great spot for a block. Reach your top hand towards the wall in front of you. Rotate your chest up to the ceiling. One more round of breath. On your exhale, chaturanga. Option to keep your toes lifted. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take your left heel to the ceiling. Cheetah, draw your knee to your nose. Hug into center. Inhale, extend behind you. Exhale, cheetah. Inhale, extend. Exhale, cheetah. Press your mat away. Engage your Uddiyana Bandha, your core lock, crescent lunge. So before I even stand up, I can look back and acknowledge that my heel is stacked over the ball of my back foot. And then inhale, rise. Lift the front of your pelvis as your tailbone descends. Bring your hands to heart center, twist to the left. Hook your right elbow on your left knee. Press your shoulder blades in. With each round of breath, moving into the space that you're creating. Constantly shifting for something bigger. You don't want to settle and just stay or constantly reaching and wringing out. Warrior two. Peaceful warrior. Extended side angle. Same options available. Rotate your chest to the ceiling. Ground down through the four corners of both your feet. Create a nice long line from the edge of your back foot all the way to your extended fingers. One more round of breath. Chaturanga. Option to keep your left toes off the mat as you lower. Inhale, up dog. Downward facing dog. Shorten up your down dog a little bit. Rock your toes close. Keep your toe mounds touching. When you sink down, take your knees out wide, kind of like a frog. We're going to take some 5 frog hops. So you squat down low. You're looking for some air time. Draw your belly in and up. Once you've done your 5, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Awesome job, you guys. All right, use that action from the frog hops. Take your gaze to the front of your mat. Bend your knees. Hop your feet forward. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt prayer twist. Bring your hands to heart center. Twist to the right. Hook your left elbow on your right knee. Draw your knees back in line if one of them popped out. Hug your outer shin bones in. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist in the opposite direction. Right elbow, left knee. Draw your belly in and up. Inhale to center. Exhale, forward fold. Separate your feet hip distance. Padangusthasana. Take your peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes. Soften like air. Inhale, halfway lift. Draw your belly in and up to create space. Exhale, hinge forward. And you can take any extra movement here that feels good. For me right now, swaying side to side feels very yummy. Release your bind. Bring your big toes to touch. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Tadasana. Forward fold. Halfway lift. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Low crescent lunge on your right side. Drop your left knee down. Notice that my heel is still stacked over the ball of my back foot, even though my knee is on the mat. Reach your fingers to the ceiling. Let your hips sink closer to your mat. And a twist here. Bring your left hand down to the floor or block. Take your right hand up. Come back to center. Straighten your front leg, flex your toes. So your seat shifted back slightly. Stay engaged through your front foot. On an exhale, hinge your heart closer to your knee. Stay connected with your breath. Feel this all through the back of your front leg. Shift forward. Keep your left hand planted. Reach behind you with your right hand. Maybe you can catch the top of your back foot. This is also a great opportunity for a strap. And if you don't have a strap, you can use just like a belt. Hook it around your ankle and draw your heel to your seat. And release. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, low crescent lunge. Lift the front of your pelvis. Add your twist. Bring your right hand down, left hand up. Inhales, lengthen. Exhales, open. On your next exhale, come back to center. Straighten your front leg. Half splits on the left side. Hinge forward on an exhale. We're going to take one more twist with the bind this time. Keep your right hand on the ground. Reach back with your left. You can add your strap. Or maybe you can grab your pant leg. Draw your heel to your seat. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take your gaze to your hands. Hop your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Tadasana. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Slowly roll up to stand. Whew, I'm hot. I hope you guys are too. All right, we've made it into equanimity. We're going to take eagle. So start by sitting in your chair, your thunderbolt position. Cross your right leg over, right arm under. Flex out through both your feet. Draw your belly in and up. Your shoulders are stacked over your hips. Unwind, switch sides, sit back in your chair. Left leg over, left arm under. If this arm bind is unavailable for you today, you can give yourself a hug. You can take genie arms or even cactus arms. The act of plugging your shoulders back into your body is what we're looking for. Unwind, shake it out. Draw your right knee into your body. Standing leg raise. You can keep the knee bind or you can reach for a toe bind with your peace fingers. Whichever bind you have, everyone open up to the side. Press the crown of your head up. Keep a neutral pelvis. Come back to center. Okay, if you have a toe bind, grab the outside of your right foot with your left hand. Extend your right arm behind you. Add a twist. This can also be done with your knee. This can also be done with a strap. Hook the strap around your foot. Press out through the balls of your feet. Come back to center and release. Shake it out. All right, I'm going to show the knee bind on this side. You have all of the options available to you. This is able to fit to any practice level. So standing leg raise, left side. Draw your knee into your chest. Grab your toe bind if you have it. Everyone open up to the side. Reach out with your right hand. Keep your lifted foot flexed. Come back to center. Add that bind. Your right hand is going to go on the outside of your left foot or to the outside of your knee. Extend your left leg behind you. Everyone back to center and release. Shake it out. Big inhale, Tadasana. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Roll up to stand. Draw your right knee into your chest again. Airplane. Start to hinge forward. Reach your fingertips behind you. Flex your lifted foot. Squeeze muscle to bone. Standing splits. Bring your hands down to the floor or blocks. Melt the crown of your head towards the ground. You have options here. You can hold this pose for a few breaths and focus on stretching. You can focus on balancing by pressing down and bringing one or both hands to your ankles, or you can take some handstand hops. Wherever you are in your practice, take 4 more rounds of breath, practicing what you need. While you do that, I'm going to fix my hair. Awesome job, you guys. You got this. 1 more round of breath. And chaturanga. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Hop your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Roll up to stand. Airplane on the other side. Draw your left knee up. Engage your core, your Uddiyana Bandha. Airplane. Think up dog in your chest. Soften your gaze, connect with your breath. Standing splits, bring your hands down to your mat. Same options are available. I encourage you, if you are working this as a stretch, acknowledge the difference between keeping your hips closed and lifting your leg versus open and lifting your leg. Take 3 more rounds of breath where you're at. And chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior 2 on your right side. Step your right foot forward. Back foot's parallel with the back edge of your mat. Peaceful warrior, reach behind you. Warrior two, Trikonasana, triangle. Straighten your front leg, reach forward. You can bring your hand to your shin, floor, or block. Peel your chest open to the ceiling. We're in grounding, so we're really thinking about grounding down to the four corners of both your feet. Press the crown of your head forward. Inhale, rise. Side facing wide leg forward fold. Take all 10 of your toes to face one side of your mat. Big inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. Depending on where you are in your practice, you can stay grounded and work the stretch. This is an opportunity to get upside down if headstand is in your practice. Soften like air, bring a micro bend into your knees. Walk your hands over to your right foot. And then over to your other foot. And then come back to center, slowly rise. Pyramid to the top of your mat. Step your back foot up a little bit. Create some space to square your hips. Take a bind behind your back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hinge forward. Draw your right hip back, left hip forward. Twisting triangle. Take your left hand down to the floor or block. Right hand to the ceiling. Twisted half moon. Lift your left leg behind you. Keep the twist in your upper body. Flex out through your lifted foot. Plant your hands high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, warrior two. Peaceful warrior. Warrior two. Trikonasana. Straighten your left foot. Reach forward. Create space through your side body. Rotate your chest to the sky. Stay active through your hands, feet, and core. Inhale, rise. Pyramid, left side. Square your hips. Adjust to what's comfortable. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. You have the bind behind your back. Draw in through your core. Feel the ground beneath you. Twisting triangle. Bring your right hand down, left hand up. Press your hips behind you. Revolved half moon. Lift your right leg up. Your 5 toes are pointed down towards your mat. Draw your belly in and up. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Shift forward, high plank. Pause here. Keep your belly flat or your booty flat. Both flat. Inhale, shift forward onto your toes. Exhale, shift back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. One last time. Forward and back. This time, come forward and all the way onto your belly. Locust pose. Both your feet are flat on your mat. Inhale, reach up. Flex your feet. Both your feet to 12 o'clock. Lower down. We're going to take that again. Inhale, rise up, locust. Lengthen and lift through your mid-back. And lower. You have the option to take another locust or a floor bow. For floor bow, reach back for your outer ankles, flex your feet, press your shins behind you. This can also be done with a strap. If you wrap your strap around your ankles, pull tight. And lower down. Windshield wiper your feet side to side. Upward facing dog. Plant your hands at your lowest ribs. Shoelace side of your feet are flat on your mat. Press down into your hands and your feet. Your hip bones are going to slightly guide towards the base of your wrists. So you see here, my wrists are underneath my shoulders versus out like this, right? See a difference? Hold for 2 more rounds of breath. And release. Child's pose. Sway side to side. Make your way onto your backs. Bridge pose. Bring your feet in towards your seat so you can graze your heels with your fingertips. Press down, lift your hip points to the ceiling. Shimmy your shoulder blades underneath you. Hug into your center line. And release. We're going to take 3 more. If wheel is in your practice, go for it. If wheel is something you want to try, bring your hands next to your ears with your fingers pointed towards your shoulders. Press down into your hands, pop up onto the top of your head, and then press down through your hands and feet to lift up. If bridge is your wheel today, then that is also perfect. Inhale, rise up. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. 2 more. Bridge or wheel. Inhale, rise up. You got this. If you can, you must. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Big inhale. And exhale. You got this. All right, level up right here, right now. 1 breath, big inhale, lift up, bridge or wheel, holding for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of your feet together, knees out wide. 1 hand to your heart, 1 to your belly. Big inhale and exhale. Do that as many times as it feels good. Big inhale. And let it go. Happy baby. Take your hands to the outer edges of your feet. Press your knees down towards your mat. From your sacrum all the way to the base of your neck is flat on your mat. You may need to adjust your grip to your ankles or maybe behind your knees, especially if your hamstrings are tight. Release your bind, bring your knees into your chest, rock side to side. And then take your feet up to the sky. Press your palms into your mat beside you. Hug your outer shin bones in. Think about your true north alignment. When we were in Tadasana, how did your legs look? Flexed, hugged into center. Draw your belly down. Drop your feet 30 degrees. Press out through your feet. Drop down. Drop to a hover. Look up towards your toes. Release, come all the way back up. If you have a crunchy low back, you can do this 1 leg at a time to reduce some of the pressure on your lower back. We're going to do this 2 more times. Lower down 30 degrees. Hug in. 30 more. All the way to a hover. Look at your toes. All the way back up. Last time. Drop 30. Drop 30. 30 more. Press out through your feet. Look at your toes. All the way back up. Drop your right leg to a hover. Pulse up to your left toes for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch sides. Both your feet are flexed. Pulse up 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Draw your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. From side to side, rock up along your spine. Boat pose. So you're balancing on your sits bones here. Hug your outer shin bones in, flex your feet. You can even physically press on your outer legs. Hold here. Plug your shoulders back in. Feel the engagement through your core. We're going to hold for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got this. 5, 6. Draw in. 8, 9, 10. Release. Awesome job. Rock side to side. Downward facing dog. Half pigeon on your right side. Draw your right knee towards your right wrist. So your front leg is somewhat parallel to the front edge of your mat. Doesn't have to be. Lengthen through your back leg. I like to tuck my toes underneath and then really draw back before placing down. Square your hips, big inhale, and fold forward. The goal here is to press your left hip point towards the ground. So you might feel that draw your right butt cheek off your mat. There's a decent space between your butt cheek and the floor. It's a great spot for a block, a towel, or a pillow. Add support wherever you need it. And then relax with what is. Stay connected with your breath and your drishti. Hold for 3 more rounds of breath. On your next inhale, make your way out, downward facing dog. Left side, half pigeon. So again, lengthen through your back legs, square your hips, fold forward. The more parallel your shin is to the front of the mat, the more intense your stretch is going to be. I really encourage you to do this incrementally, especially if you're newer to the practice. Having your shin parallel isn't end-all be-all. Some days I have it, some days I don't, and each practice is perfect. Hold for 3 more rounds of breath. Where can you soften right now? Where can you add ease into your practice? Maybe unclench your jaw. On your next inhale, downward facing dog. Wiggle out your hips. Now tiptoe your toes all the way through your hands. Come onto your seat. Extend your right leg long. Fold your left foot in, like we're standing in tree. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge forward. Janushirasana. Single leg forward fold. Vinyasa is still present here. Inhales, back out, lengthen. Exhales, move forward. You're going to come back to that bind with your left hand on the outer edge of your right foot. Lift your heel off your mat. Reach your white fingers behind you. Press out through your lifted foot. You can do this with a strap, or you can even have a bend in your knee. Release, switch sides. Seated single leg forward fold. Flex your feet. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hinge forward. Reach for your bind. Your right hand on the outside of your left leg. Lift your foot. There's active muscles all through this leg. Press out through your foot. Reach your left fingers behind you. Let your gaze follow your left hand. Come back to center. Paschimottanasana. Seated forward fold. Extend both feet out in front of you. Soften like air. There's a micro bend in my knees here. Inhale, reach up. Hinge forward. Lead with your heart. Keep your gaze out before you. And you're going to feel this more in your hamstrings. Release. Reverse tabletop. Plant your feet. Your hands go behind your seat, fingers pointing towards you. Press down, lift your hip points to the sky. Let the crown of your head melt down behind you. And release. We're going to take a few moments to take an inversion. So if handstand, headstand is in your practice, or forearm stand or anything like that, feel free to take your time to practice that. I'm going to instruct shoulder stand. Lift your hips off the ground like you were in bridge and bring support to your mid-back. Kick your feet up above you. Stack your ankles, knees, hips in line. Another way I've seen people get into this pose is by simply flinging their legs behind them and then adding their low back support, and then stacking their legs. Hug your outer shin bones in. If you are in a shoulder stand, start to let your toes come above your head. Plow. If your toes touch the ground, you can release your bind. Then everyone start to come down one vertebrae at a time. If you took a different inversion, give yourself a moment in child's pose. Supine twist. Keep your right knee tucked in. Extend your left leg long. Cross your right leg over your body. Take your gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale to center, squeeze both knees in, switch sides, extend your right leg long, cross over body, gaze over your left shoulder. Come back to center, drop both knees in, rock side to side. Supta Baddha Konasana, or any other pose that you need to feel good right before we come into Shavasana. Everyone, take a really big inhale, fill up your lungs. Let it all go. Make your way to Shavasana. Relax your feet to the corners of your mat. Take one more big release of energy. Big inhale. Pause at the top of your inhale. Take one more sip of breath. Let it all go. Deep rest. Take a big inhale. Exhale out your mouth. Start to bring movement back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Rock your head side to side. Turn onto your right side. Come into a fetal position. Hold your head in your arms. Reconnect with the intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. And then come to seated. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank you all for joining me today in this practice. I hope it has generated vitality and fire within you. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Yay! Thank you all. See you again soon.